All right, I was able to take the bulb out of this lamp, so I wanted to do a video on it. This is what's called a short arc lamp. That's around somewhere between 1 and 2 millimeter arc lamp that was kind of developed for projectors. And Philips was a big player in that market originally, and kind of coined the UHP lamp, which is ultra high performance. And yeah, it is a lot of voltage to make this thing arc. It's like 20,000 volts to make it arc, and then once it's arcing, it requires about 300 volts to keep it going once you've generated the plasma inside. And inside, you can see little droplets of mercury next to the electrodes, and that will vaporize when the plasma starts. So it's sort of a mercury lamp, but mercury doesn't have the spectrum that you want for red, green, and blue that you want in a projector. And so they put in a little bit of metal halides, and these metal halides can be various materials. Sodium will give you orange and red, indium will give you blue, thallium will give you green, scandium will give you more balance, it says here, and dyspropium or holonium can give you better daylight. So anyway, they put in a mixture of these metal halides to give you nice spectral content. So here you see that we have a nice peak in the blue. Here's a peak in the kind of the orange and in the red. And instead of a continuous spectrum, we have these peaks because you're going to be going through a color wheel, and you're going to be generating only certain things. So you want them to kind of these things match together. And then when you generate red, green, and blue, you have a triangle of all colors that can go inside the red, green, blue triangle called color gamut. Anyway, so other interesting facts about these light bulbs is, like I said, it takes a very high voltage to make them go, and they don't necessarily like to go. And so, let's see if I can zoom down here. Let me change lenses. All right, I think that will be better. Let's move this out of the way. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see here if I can adjust the brightness here a little bit. There we go. That's better. So you can see that we have this glass, and there's electrode on this side, electrode on this side, so that's where you connect electricity. And one of the interesting things is the metal glass seal. And there is a round piece of wire, and then it gets stuck onto a piece of foil. And that foil is, I don't remember what metal that foil is, but it's a particular foil that fuses with glass well, and you can generate a good seal by having that foil in there. And then by the time you get to the electrode, it's round again. It's a tungsten metal for the arcs. And then as you see, there's this wire that's just kind of flailing around on the outside of the bulb here. And it's connected to one end, and that helps. It's called a trigger wire, and it helps generate electrical fields that cause the arc to occur easier, especially if the lamp is hot. When the lamp gets hot, it doesn't like to strike any longer. And so you have these little wires in there that create an additional field that allow the plasma to start to form. All right, what else can we talk about? You can see little droplets of mercury in there on the electrodes. And yeah, they are interesting beasts. Have this nice round glass capsule there that allows the light to come out in all directions. You want to have the light perpendicular as it hits that glass interface. It doesn't refract. Yeah, it's pretty, they're pretty wild devices. All right, like I said, you have the bulb, and it's going to be outputting in 360 degrees, right? 2 pi steradians. And so the bulb is going to go inside a reflector. And depending on the design of the projector, this can be a parabola or hyperbola, and elliptical shape. Depends if you want parallel light or you want to focus it. This one is a little bit elliptical, and it makes a cone of light that exits it. You can do kind of a trick if you have one of these. You can here's this blue item. See if I can capture this on camera or not. I'm going to put it in here, and then let's see. Yeah, there we go. Suddenly if you look at the reflection here, and I move the object here inside, there'll be a point where basically everything turns blue. Okay, and that means that we're filling the aperture, that everything is being reflected up, and it's seeing that little tip there, and we can do that. We can kind of move it in and wait till it all turns blue, sort of about there, and there. It was only that much inserted, so really only about a 1/4 inch was inside of the ellipse, and that's exactly where the bulb sits. So anyway, a little optical trick there. Yeah, these are really interesting devices, and the reason that you want the arc so small is there is an optical property called étendue, which is the solid angle times the area, which is preserved in an optical system. And when you're trying to capture all the light, it requires a big aperture and a large steradian. And then as you collapse that into a smaller steradian, whatever you started out with increases in size. Okay, so if this is too big, then you will have too big of a spread and you won't be able to use that light. So you need to start out with something very, very small, because you're going to use a large angle to capture all that light. And that's what this thing does. Anyway, there you go. Like I said, Philips was kind of the first in this. This paper came out of the Philips Research Labs in Weisshausstrasse number 2 in Aachen, Germany. And Aachen was the center of the Frank Empire. So as the Roman Empire collapsed and the Roman Holy Empire kind of took over, the Pope took charge. The Pope couldn't do everything, so he kind of said, "Hey, you Franks over there, why don't you? We'll make you the king of the Franks. There you go, and you can run the Holy Roman Empire to the west, and the Ottomans, they can go over there to the anyway." Yeah, if you go to Aachen, Germany, there's this big. It's one of those cities that has concentric circles, and in the center is the big church. I think it's the oldest cathedral in Europe, and it's where Charlemagne was buried and christened or whatever. And then 31 Frank German kings were, knighted, not knighted, but kingized. They were kingized there. Anyway, Aachen's a fun little town, all cobblestones and print and cookies, if you know what those are.